Buenas, hello, hola, guten tag, bonjour. Hope you're all doing well, happy, healthy, regardless of what your situation is or where you're tuning in from the world. Getting right to it. I decided to make this video here on a whim. I'm just going to briefly go through some articles that I deem newsworthy today. And of course, the main topic for today, of course, as always, technical analysis. We will be looking at Bitcoin and some other altcoin pairings that I was looking at this week as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm going to stop this video here, share my screen with you. Righty. All right, go. All right, so first up, I'm sure most of you heard about this. First public Bitcoin fund listed on Toronto Stock Exchange. A lot of people are going to say this is very bullish. I would tend to agree. Getting right to it, Canadian asset manager 3iQ has become the first firm to launch a fund tied to Bitcoin on the Toronto Stock Exchange after 3 years of legal wrangling. The Bitcoin fund listed nearly 1.5 million Class A QBTC.U shares on TXX on April 9th. The fund's shares are currently trading for around $11 each. On April 10th, entrepreneur and crypto investor Tyler Winklevoss tweeted that the Bitcoin fund's launch on TSX was historic, as it is the first public Bitcoin fund listed on a major stock exchange. The Winklevoss twins crypto exchange Gemini is acting as a custodian for the Bitcoin fund. The TSX is the largest stock exchange in Canada with more than $97 billion in monthly trade. The price indexes used by the fund are provided by crypto data company CryptoCompare and VanEck Europe subsidiary MV Index Solutions. 3iQ is also acting as the fund's investment manager and portfolio manager. The firm was funded in 2012. All right, if you want to read the rest of the article, I'll leave a link in the comment section or in the description of when I post this video. But impressive that the regulatory negotiations took nearly 3 years. So after all that hassle, all that battle, it's glad to see that they finally got to where they wanted to get to. And it's always good to see just some kind of development in the crypto space, things advancing and new listings. This is very bullish, I think, but whether that has an impact on the price or not long term, I don't know. You guys know, for those that are more active in the discussion group, that I always look at the charts, but generally speaking, positive news, like it. Moving on to the next article, I'm sure some of you saw this as well. I just saw this today. Bitcoin Cash, regarding the forks and the halvings. Bitcoin Cash lost 66% of its hash rate, Bitcoin SV miners leaving too. It's going to go through the beginning of this article, and afterwards we'll look at the charts and we'll get to TA. So today, Bitcoin SV halved its mining reward for the first time, cutting it to 6.25 BSV, approximately $1,195 per block, and prompting some miners to leave the network. While Bitcoin Cash, 2 days after its first halving, still can't stop its miners from leaving. BSV saw its hash rate, or the computing power of the network, drop by almost 16% in 24 hours. And in the same time, in the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash's hash rate dropped almost 63%. That's a decent amount. That's a very decent drop. Between this current number and the halving 2 days ago, the hash rate dropped 66%. Yeah, see it here, the chart, it's quite a drop. On the other hand, Bitcoin's hash rate went up 0.5% in the past 24 hours. As discussed earlier, analysts believe that the miners will use the chance that Bitcoin's block reward is still 12.25 for a month and will switch to it until it too halves. Meanwhile, BitMEX research in the report discussing the impact of the Bitcoin halving, expected to happen in May, estimated that despite the mining reward will drop 50%, based on the current industry structure and assuming the Bitcoin price does not change, we predict that the halving might cause the network hash rate to decline by around 30 to 35%. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Very interesting to see BitMEX perspective as well. BitMEX research, they think that 30 to 35% of the hash rate will drop on the Bitcoin network. That, to me personally, seems realistic. All the inefficient miners, in my opinion, that are operating on thin margins, they will be the ones that, of course, capitulate, and that will most likely be this drop that they're talking about here. Personally, I think that efficient miners, they are welcoming the halving, but of course, you know, we'll see what happens when it takes place in about 30 days, I believe, somewhere May 12th or so. And not going to go through the rest of this here. There's some tweets, some other commentary about the halving of Bitcoin Cash and BSV, but I'll let you look at that. Looking here on BitInfo charts on the latest thing, here you see as well, drop. It's the same 66% they were talking about. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin Cash. I'm not one of these doom and gloom guys that thinks that it's all going to zero for Bitcoin Cash or for any of these coins. As most of you know, I'm personally a trader. I tend not to look too much at this stuff regarding hash rate and the network and statistics, but it's good to keep an eye on it a little bit in between and make your decisions from there. All right, with the new stuff out of the way, we'll get into technical analysis, which is what most of you are here for. As always, regarding technical analysis or trading in general, everything I talk about here is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Risk trading is risky, and so on and so forth. I believe you guys know that in the meantime, but disclaimers must always be said, just for the sake of saying them. Great. With that said, let's get into BTC USD, king of crypto, that everyone usually likes to look at first and foremost. So, at the beginning of the week on Monday, I posted in the discussion group about this downtrend that we were looking at on the larger timeframes. We had this huge drop on March 12th, Black Thursday, that caught a lot of people by surprise, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. During this movement to the upside, lots of people were saying that, you know, now is time that, this is the drop, that's it. Now, bull time, let's go. I personally am not fully convinced, which I mentioned in my post, and I said it would be good for the bulls if, instead of getting rejected on this downtrend, we see some consolidation and a push up. Ultimately, there wasn't an immediate rejection on this downtrend. However, price consolidated, and instead of getting that push up to 7.8 or 8K, price came back down today to this 6.8 region, 6.8K, which was also the previous resistance on this ascending triangle structure. And we see previous support in the past as well. Now, with this drop here, obviously this daily candle still has to close. I mention a lot that you always want to look for closings of the candles before you make any drastic trading decisions or make any kind of trading decision in general. What I'd be looking at here on the daily chart is seeing how this daily candle closes today. If we close below this key level area here of 6.8K, I would be looking for price to move again to the downside. I'd be looking at this area here. Let's draw in this new zone here. 5.6, 5.8. I'd be looking at this region here. If we go further back, looking further left, see that there was also slight consolidation during May of 2019. Also acted as resistance and also support. So definitely a key level here. if we break below 6.8, I would be looking for price to first come down to this area here, and of course, see from then. It is possible that looking at this here being a very clear downside impulse, that this is nothing more than a correction before we get further downside. However, as you guys all know, I tend not to make any long-term predictions or even medium-term predictions. I look at the charts day by day and make my decision based off what the charts are telling me. But short-term, as I said, for Bitcoin, I would just want to look at this daily candle, see how it closes today, and depending on that, decide from there. If we close in this area and tomorrow we have a very bullish candle that goes back to the upside, goes back above 7K, then we would still be more or less in the current uptrend still, and that would not be bad for the bulls, but I still wouldn't be uber bullish. I'd be more bullish midterm and also more long-term if we get a break above this key level here, 7.8K or even 8,000, this level more or less here. So I want to see a break above this area here before we go any further to the upside. So that's pretty much my take on BTC USD. I keep it very simple. Just look at price action. Let me know what your take is on BTC USD. I'm going to look at some altcoins now. Some of the coins that have performed well this week and also that I've personally been trading a little bit. All right, first up on my list, I have XTZ BTC, Tezos. It's done really well in the past few days. As you can see, price had a rally for the past 3 days, and 2 days decline. I'm going to zoom out here. Overall, this is a very bullish chart, long-term upside potential. If you're wondering why I personally got into XTZ, this is the coin that I traded this week personally. What I was looking at personally was this level here, Fibonacci retracement levels, looking at the golden zone, 61.8, and also this current downtrend. So for my signal to enter personally was, first of all, we had sorry about that, guys. I think my internet slightly stuttered there for a second. As I was saying, I was looking at the golden ratio, 61.8, and once I saw that price wasn't declining very quickly, unlike these areas here, and holding some decent support. And as you can see, looking further back, this was also a previous resistance level. That for me was a potential sign of we could see a potential bounce. And zooming in on this hourly time frames, once we got this push here, that was my go-to entry signal. So I personally got in at about 2.6, got out a little bit before 2.9. So could have gone a little further, but you don't have to enter the exact bottom. You never have to exit the exact top. It's fine if you get something in between. 2 days decline now. I might consider a re-entry on this coin depending on how price reacts in the next few days. But XTZ BTC, if you're trading altcoins to BTC, is definitely something that you might want to keep an eye on. All right, next on my list, I have Ethereum BTC. Also did pretty well this week. It had 1 day though of a major push, and now we've had consolidation for the past few days. I'm going to go zoom out a little further here for Ethereum BTC because obviously we still have 2 more days left until this weekly candle finishes, but so far it is very, very bullish. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is if we go back on the chart and look, on the weekly time frames and the weekly candle chart sticks. Whenever you have strong weekly candles, the rally just tends to continue with Ethereum BTC. Even in the long-term bearish structure to the downside, you still have a few weeks of upside in between. For those that do spot trading, this is very convenient. Plenty of opportunities here. And if we have the same thing starting here, and this candle ends bullish for the week, then we might have some more potential upside. Also for this year as well, we had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of upside until we had 4 weeks of a downside and consolidation. So if we end this week positive, I would keep an eye on Ethereum BTC. As always, trade according to your system, manage your risk, watch your position size, trade according to your system. But this is definitely something that you want to keep an eye on for the next few weeks. If this ends bullish and we can see a continuation of the uptrend on the smaller time frames. Alrighty. Now, the final coin I want to look at today is Link BTC, Chainlink. It's performed very well this week. Very nice. 40% up for the past 4 days. Very nice. And today's candle is also pretty bullish. Let's zoom in here on this one. So far, so good. Yeah. Link BTC, also one of the more bullish altcoins versus Bitcoin that I've seen this week. Also something that I would keep an eye on. Already starting to test the previous local top, previous resistance, already slightly wicked above. If we get more consolidation here within the next few hours, maybe you could get a good entry, depending on how you trade or what your system is. Zooming out again on the larger time frames. This is also very, very bullish overall. If we can break this resistance, this local top on the hourly, then maybe we could go up to, actually, it's a little too high. Let's zoom in a bit again. Good. If we can break this, if price can break this resistance here, I would be looking to target this area about here, 0.0005. We also have a nice level here, support resistance. Awesome. So here we have some decent support before price came back up and then ultimately dropped, retested as resistance, came back down. And then here we also had some very decent support. Yeah, around the beginning of March before we ultimately dropped back down. So those are the coins that I've been looking at personally this week, XTZ, BTC, Ethereum BTC, and Link BTC. Regarding altcoins to the dollar, for the most part, that just tends to follow BTC USD, or depending on how you look at it, you could say that BTC USD follows altcoins to USD, but each to his own on that, as always. Good. With that said, let me know in the comments below whether or not you're trading, and if you are, what are the coins that you personally have been looking at at least versus BTC or also versus US dollars. Let me know what you're looking at. And if you like this video, give it a share, give it a like, all that good social media stuff. And next week, I was thinking of doing a quick live video, not for technical analysis, but just to have a quick chat with the community, see how you're all doing, and maybe just talk a little bit about the crypto ecosystem, what you guys are seeing, what's good, what's bad, maybe also a bit about the global situation currently, whatever you guys are up for. Let me know if you want me to do that, and if you let me know as well if you'd like to have videos similar to this one here as well. It's been a while since I've done one of these live, not live, excuse me. Been a while since I've done one of these. I didn't want to go live simply because the setup for this is much easier, but I will be uploading it now. So let me know whether you'd like to see something like this again. And also feel free to drop me your analysis for any of these pairings or any other pairings in the comment section of this video below. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.